6 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Let's Play series. So first I want to make sure I can hear myself because I am using a different controller. Hold on, I need to find it first. Okay, there it is. Hold on. I'm gonna... Okay, I can hear myself. Okay, so... I'm gonna mute it. Just want to make sure I could hear myself for a second. So now I'll put down the verse. And I'm doing a 2-game poll basically. I was gonna maybe try to get another few games in, but I didn't really have time for that. So I'm just making 2 games. But maybe later in the week I can add later, but before Wednesday. So maybe for Monday's stream I could add in a few more games. We'll have to see. But for now, you can vote on Pirates Treasure Hunters because I played the 3 other games I was talking about, and Live or Die just wasn't working, so I'm not going to try it again. Or you can go with Tower of Fantasy, and that's for the Twitch stream. So that will be for Wednesday's Twitch stream, because the last one was the Stern Pinball Arcade, and that was basically a one-off. Like, I didn't get all the achievements, but I'm alright with that because like those achievements that would have been kind of difficult. So this will be Wednesday Twitch stream. Yeah, so anyway, thank you in advance for everyone who does come in during this stream. And I'll try to read out all the comments. I should be able to. I haven't gotten any recent comments on my videos afterwards, but I did get a few likes on the last stream, so thank you so much to the 2 people who liked it. At least 2. I'm not sure if I got more, but also thank you to the new subscriber. It might have been that one I was, the person I was playing with, the Kaizan, I think it was. Is that Kai? I'm sorry, I forget all of your name, but if that was you who subscribed, thank you so much. Like, you don't have to say. I just want to say thank you, and also like thank you for also like helping me give out a chance to to try out the Duel room. And if anyone else wants to do it, now I know how to do it, and so I should be able to be better with it. Not that it was too hard to figure it out. Anyway, I'll go into solo mode first, and I'll look into the news and everything else. So basically, I'm doing it again, kind of what I did last time, but instead of doing Subterra mashup decks, I'm going to do S-Force mashup decks. I actually got a few good decks. Like, I was pleasantly surprised at the ideas I thought of. Like, all the ideas I thought of. Like, I had, like, some pretty good cards for each. So I'm going to say, like, that was definitely Jesus helped me think of good decks I already had the cards for. Like, I didn't have to do... I mean, yes, I had to craft a few, but it was, like, 1 UR, 1 SR for one deck, and then 1 UR, 1 SR for another deck. And the 1 UR and 1 SR was for the S-Force deck, which, I mean, I'm using for all 3 of these, so I thought that was a much better deal. And I felt like Vaylantz, I was about not to craft the missing fusions, but then was like, I'm doing it for S-Force, I should really do it for Vaylantz as well. So, by the way, that's a little bit of a hint at one of the decks I'm using. But I think I'm going to save that. Actually, I'll do an RNG to decide which one I'm using first. So, yeah. This just, not this one. This gives you a look at. And this time I'm going to also change out the mate, since I think the mate will also show up. So here they are. I got to do an RNG. And unless someone wants to see a specific one first, second, or third. But I'll just do RNG, so 2. So I guess I'll go with the Vaylantz first. Because I think like, unlike the last three, I think these are all about the same power level. These could probably work on ranked. Of course, like, you might want to put in some hand traps, maybe make it closer to 40. And of course, like, get a little bit of the ratios a little better, like the Rapper at 3 is like what everybody's doing. Maybe a few extras of the S-Force, especially if you're planning to use part of Extravagance. I'm not using part of Extravagance for this deck, but I am using it for one of them. And part of Extravagance, I think, is definitely a lot better when you have like multiple copies of some of your most important links. But I think part of Extravagance isn't bad in S-Force, because like really your only important links are going to be the Justify and the Night Chaser. So you don't really need the other links too bad, I would say. Like, especially since once you're into Justify, you can't really link very much afterwards. I think this is also a reason why decks that have like fusions also pretty exceeds and don't really rely too much on the fusions or exceeds. Which, not all of these decks are going to be doing that, but this deck does. This deck can like do pretty well with the fusions, the Vaylantz, and not needed really as much with the links and stuff. I mean, I'm not running the... Oh yeah, and another thing is, if you're going to be playing a deck like this, you probably want to add Beyond the Pendulum and Electromite. I just didn't have those, and since they weren't technically Vaylantz cards, I decided it's not worth it. I didn't want to have to like use even more. Were they both URs? Even more UR? Man, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, I mean, I still haven't gone the URCP from the Duel Pass, which I'll be getting later on, but I don't really I want to try to use as little CP as I can. And I'm just running out of gems, which why I did CP instead of gems. So yeah, so some people like to play 2 of each of the S-Force links, I think. And I think that's probably a good idea if you're going with Extravagance. You don't have to use Extravagance, and I know you only have one, but still, like, you probably want to run multiple copies of some of your important ones. So maybe, like, and since your X deck isn't that tight, you definitely can, I would say. Like, you could probably run 2 each of the different Vaylantz fusions, maybe even, and then 2 each of both of the S-Force, and then that would only be 2, 4, 6, 10 cards, so you would have enough room for like 5 more cards. I'm not sure if you have to do that, because like there's still like a lower chance, like if like you only have a few extra cards that are actually important. I think because I think there are decks out there that only have a few really important extra cards that like I still think they only need to run 1 of each, and since it's such a low chance, it's fine. But I just kind of like it where you play multiple. I guess it's up to you. You don't even have to play a Power of Extravagance if you don't want to, probably, though. It just helps, like, as another card that can help you get out of a tricky situation. But yeah. So there's that a little bit. And then Fisher, I'm playing Fisher in most of these decks, except for one of them, because Fisher just doesn't work in one of them. Fisher probably works the best in this deck, though, because with the Vaylantz, they're all pendulums. Even the fusions are pendulums. So they're very unlikely to be going to the graveyard, because even when you use them as fusion material, I'm pretty sure they still go to the pendulum area. I think if you have Fisher out, like, they still go to the pendulum area, and don't end up being banished. I mean, I could be wrong, but... And then there's also Small World. Small World is a little bit hard to use, but I'm going to try it. And, I mean, it is solo mode, so if I mess up a little bit, then I'll hopefully not be punished as much. And then I can always try again if I mess up with it. And then I got a few, and then I wanted to play as many Vaylantz cards as I could. So any of the cards that like people were not really that weren't really needed as much, I decided to put like to 1 or 2. And then there are a few important ones that you definitely want to have 3 of. Like this one is a good one. Yeah, see, I had basically almost all of the important main deck cards, and then the X deck cards. I was missing a few. And the reason why I had so many of the Vaylantz cards is I realized that I must have opened a bunch of the pack that had the Fenrir, which also contained a lot of the Vaylantz stuff. Not all of the Vaylantz stuff, but a lot of them. So that's how I was able to pick up a lot of the SR Vaylantz stuff. At least for like the main deck and the URs even. I had like the perfect amount, usually more than the perfect amount for all of these, so that was pretty great. Except for like these 2 pendulum fusions that I didn't have, so I just crafted 1 of each because I didn't want to go overboard. Yeah. And then center switch is also pretty great, because this can be searched. And it works pretty well with like moving one of your monsters, one of your S-Force monsters to be in a position of opposing monster. So I think it also works here. So what I wanted to do was like I wanted to play a few decks. So at least the first 2 decks are more based on like they're good with the S-Force because they like are about like wanting to see like because they also kind of care about columns, and S-Force kind of cares about columns as well. This one is pretty great because you can actually move stuff. Like at least with the center switch, which can be search, so that's pretty nice. So you don't need to play 1. And then this one I don't think really moves stuff that much. It moves to back row, which doesn't really matter as much for the S-Force. Yeah. So that's probably not going to make as much of a difference for the S-Force, but the center switch is pretty good. And then there's a few ways I can get back some of my banished S-Force. So another archetype you could play with the S-Force is Metaphys. Especially since like S-Force doesn't mind Fisher or Macro Cosmos. But I already knew I didn't really have a lot of the cards from Metaphys. So I decided I didn't want to do that. I was just trying out these other decks, and since I had most of the cards for these other decks, I decided I'll use these instead. So I'm not really going based off of the whole Fisher idea, but a little bit for this deck because I'm pretty sure the pendulums will go to the X deck before they actually get banished. End up getting banished. I think, but I guess it'll be a nice experiment to see if I'm right there. If I do happen to see Fisher in the Vaylantz Duel. Anyway, retroactive. This you can link summon using this card in your hand. Unfortunately, that pretty much only goes for Justify, because the other one only calls for 1 monster. So, you're gonna... basically, this one helps with Justify. Oh, hey, New Blitz. I don't know why it's showing 0 faces. You in here. Anyway. Rapper... Oh, there it is. It took a little bit to update. And then Rapper Chimera. I only have 1 of this, and I didn't want to craft another one, so that's what I have. And this is nice because it special summons an S-Force straight from the deck. And what's great is this combos pretty well with Platina, because if you can banish not a Platina, but a different S-Force monster with the Chimera effect, Maru effect, you get out the Platina, and then you target that banished S-Force monster to special summon that. And that gives you 3 materials for your Justify play. So that's pretty great. So that's basically a 1-card Justify, as long as the card that you banish can be non a Platina, which, I mean, if you're special summoning the Platina from your deck, like, it's not going to be Platina. In some of the other builds, I'm running multiple Platinas, but in this one, I'm only running one. So, if the one I'm special summoning is Platina, and I'm banishing an S-Force monster, you can banish an S-Force card too, but mostly that's probably how you can be using it. Banishing a monster, and then special summoning the Platina, and as long as it's not the Platina, you just special summon that monster that was banished. Pretty great combo right there. But of course, if you already have the Platina, you have a lot of other options because it lets you special summon any S-Force monster from your deck, and it even gives it its effect. So you could search for the one that adds a S-Force monster, which I think I'm running. Yeah, this one adds an S-Force card, so I can search. So I can special summon that, and then just add an S-Force card, which is pretty great too. I could even add the retroactive, and then that way I will still be able to go for the Justify there too, because that'll be 1, 2, 3. So that's another way I can go into Justify. So yeah, I have multiple ways of being able to basically go for the Justify with just a Rapper Chimera model. This is why you want 3 of this, but I only have the 1. Hopefully I can get into it pretty quickly though. Unfortunately, this has to be on the field in order to use that deck effect. So if I search for it with a Gravitino, I'm going to basically have to wait. And then S-Force Edge Razor. Yeah, and then these all, yeah, and then as I was saying, like, you kind of already know how the S-Force deck works from the last one, so I don't really need to explain them that much. But yeah, they have different, as a reminder, they have different effects, depending on, as long as, you have an opponent's monster that's in the same column, it can affect that opponent's monster, which is where Sense Switch comes into play. Platina Lowe's attack. I don't think I need to say this too much. This one is nice because it can destroy stuff. And then here's some of the Vaylantz. So this one can add a Vaylantz spell, so it can add your field spells. So you don't really need to play a ton of the field spells if you don't really want to. Because like this one can just add them, so it can just act as extra copies of your Vaylantz field spells, or if you already have the Vaylantz field spells, it can act as extra copies of some of your other Vaylantz spells. And also, like, you probably want to run one of each of the field spells, just because, like, that's kind of the whole point of running these field spells, that they place the other one in the opposite zone. And it also gets rid of your opponent's field spell too if they had one, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, that also means that they can just remove it easily by placing their own field spell on top of it. And then the Buster Baron. Yeah, see, and then a lot of these can special summon themselves out of, like, the Pendulum Zone when you're putting them in the Pendulum Zone into your Monster Zone, which is also pretty nice about this deck. I don't think any of them, I'm not sure if any of the main deck monsters really move stuff around like the Senate Switch does. Forget which one searches for the Senate Switch. I know one of these does. This one can negate its, like, mess with monsters, so that's nice. This one, I guess this can move your own monsters around, but that's not really as big of a deal. Maybe for the Vaylantz it is. Kaiden Kendo Spirit can just be another way to get a high skill on. I think that's basically its use, mostly, just for a high scale. And then Nizuki can also special summon itself. This one, I had a hollow, which is pretty nice. This one can like search up some cards, and because it's excavating, it's not really gonna do anything. It says excavate, not mill, so Dimensional Fissure won't get in the way, so that's pretty nice. Hojo, I think this is a quick effect fusion. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. And then you can, I think, search out the Vaylantz monsters as well, so you can search out that quick effect fusion. But most of your fusions don't really need to be fusion summon. Like, they can just special summon themselves by some monsters. I think this is the guy that actually does, though. But I'm not sure if there's another way to bring him out. I don't know. Yeah, so apparently this can move. Okay, so yeah, some of your fusions can move monsters around too. So there's also that way of being able to move monsters around. So you don't have to entirely rely on this sense switch. Reinforcement, because you have a few warriors. Rappa is probably the best one. This is basically just acting as another Rappa mostly. Which is especially nice since I only have one Rappa. At least this way I kind of have two in a sense. And also gets rid of another card from my deck. Part of Prosperity. Maybe it can get me into the Rappa, which would be really nice. And I also get to choose what I banish from my X deck. Which, I mean, I definitely have 6 cards I'm willing to get rid of because there's only really a few really important cards in my X deck, as I was saying. Small World, another way to maybe search out the Rappa if I can figure this out. Or it can search out one of my Vaylantz, maybe like Shinonome. I might have a way to search out both though. See if I can figure this out. So, if I'm trying to get to the Rappa, that's a warrior level 2. Does it care about stats? Yeah, at 800, 1000. So basically, I reveal some monster. Choose one monster from deck that has exactly one the same type, attribute, level, attack, defense. It can only share one of those. And banish a revealed monster from your hand face down, then add from the deck to your hand one monster that has exactly one the same type, attribute, level, attack, or defense as a monster chosen from your deck. So it can't even be that monster. Wait. And banish that card chosen from the deck face down. Oh, so, wait, what? One monster. Oh, so I think you're choosing the second monster? Oh, yeah, so the first two you're banishing, and then the last. Oh, and then the last one you're. Wait, and banish your card chosen from the deck. Then add from the deck to your hand one monster. Oh, chosen from the deck. So the one chosen from the deck that wasn't added. Okay. So if I'm trying to get to Rappa, let's see. 800, 1000. I think it cares about levels as well. Yeah, level, type, attribute. So dark, warrior. So this is light warrior. So maybe I can banish this one. So if I was to banish a retroactive, that's a light warrior. Level 1, 0, 0. So there's only one that matches. So, but do I have another light warrior? Light warrior 0, 0. Let's see. None of these guys are warriors. Or maybe if I have a level 1. Doesn't look like I do. But maybe if I'm doing this one, banishing this, level 2, are there any other level 2s? No. Wow, that's kind of difficult. And I don't have any lights in here. They're all like fire, water. So they're all just a bunch of fires and waters. So maybe, but maybe I can do this, banish. Oh wait, And then this is a light. So I think I would be able to do that. Level 6. And so I might be able to banish this, and then add this maybe. Wrapper. Maybe that's how I can do it. And then if I'm trying to add the... What's the most important Vaylantz in here? If I'm trying to add the Vaylantz... Let's see. Level 2, so maybe... I probably don't want to use the wrap as fodder for that. 500 water. So I can probably use one of the Vaylantz though. This one. Spellcaster. Yeah, so I'm sure I can do it. And then Vaylantz War. This is the one that you don't actually have to use, but I'm still using it to show off like as much of the 2 decks as possible. Yeah, and this one... Oh, yeah, this is a Searcher. Okay, yeah, so this is a Searcher. I guess not everyone really cares too much about the Searcher. But I think if you're playing Senate Switch, you probably want to play this. So that's how you search for the Senate Switch. So this just acts as another copy while having other effects as well. And then Vaylantz Awakening. Yeah, this can place Vaylantz straight from your deck. So it's a sort of another way to search out Vaylantz cards, since a few of them can special summon themselves out from that zone. I think this can. Yeah, this one can special. But unfortunately, if you do stuff like that, you can't actually. I can't really make use out of the S-Force, but hopefully that won't get in the way too much. And then Bridgehead adds S-Force. I don't think this will get in the way of the Vaylantz. Yeah, it simply adds an S-Force. So this is another way to add the Rapper. So I think I have a few ways of adding the Rapper. So I also have this way too, and then Vaylantz. These are basically some of the main cards you want to use. And then a few traps, just a few though. This one can return S-Force cards to the hand. There's a little bit of a combo. There's one of them. Which one? No, there's one card that can banish stuff instead. Oh yeah, it's banished when it leaves the field. So yeah, the S-Force, was it Chase, works well with the Gravitino, because instead of them return to hand, they'll now just get banished. And unless your opponent cares about banished cards, that's oftentimes going to be way worse. Of course, if you're targeting X deck, it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, that's pretty nice. And then as for Specimen is how you can like special summon back your banished monsters, which works really well with Dimensional Fissure. And then the X deck, yeah, a bunch of these have effects that can move around monsters. Maybe not all of them, but a few of them. At least in the pendulum effects. So I'm not sure how often you'll be putting them in the pendulum zone, but I think you can do that with the field spell. So I think that's a way. But anyway, they also have like pretty good monster effects too. Negating, placing stuff into the back row, and then a few of these can like kind of needs. See this one. Yeah, see, and then they can all like special summon themselves out via various ways, as long as they're face down the X deck. Some of them. I think this one. Oh wait, this one also needs to be face down first. I guess this is the only one that you basically need to use Hojo for. And then this one, yeah, this one kind of combos well with the Momonaka, because after the place in the spell and trap zone, or actually you can also just do that with the field spell. After the place in the spell and trap zone though, you can just return them to the hand. Yeah. And then this one, oh yeah, I guess like this one can also technically mess with locations as well. Even its monster effect can. And then Night Chaser, this is the new Link monster that S-Force recently got. So this isn't available in Secret Pack just yet. So basically probably the best way to get it right now is to just craft it, unfortunately. So I just had to just craft it. But it's nice to, as another way to special summon out banished S-Force monsters. Phoenix, destroying back row, like, and then in case you want to go in Link's during the opponent's turn. Sprite Elf, you do have a few level 2s. How many level 2s does this deck have? I think there's one. Yeah, so there's one. It literally helps you get out your one, but it can also help get out your Link 2s as well. So like the IP of the Phoenix, probably the IP though, because this only activates on Link Summon. Unicorn, good, works well with the IP. So does Crusadia. Like really a lot of these, like except for the Access Code, will work pretty well with IP. And then Access Code for maybe finishing things off. I'm also running quite a few different attributed links here, a few at least. And then there's a Justify. I kind of talked about that, but that's another way to negate stuff. I also move some monsters around too. There. Oh, and I think another reason why I think another thing about the Vaylantz deck that can make it work pretty well with like moving stuff around. I think if like there's like a back row in the same position as a as some kind of opponent's monster, like if it's directly behind it, I think it might go to the graveyard instead of being able to go to that back row. But I could be wrong there. Anyway, if anyone else has any like tips about the S-Force decks or anything, like any like maybe a little bit more knowledgeable about the deck, you can feel free to say whatever else you know about the deck. But hopefully I did a pretty good job of explaining it. Now I'll actually go into the duel. Okay, and then I get more Lapswell, which I think I already have 3 of already at least, so that's not that important, but whatever. It would have been nice to like be given one of the SRUR S-Force monsters, though. Maybe more of that Rapper even. But whatever. Sometimes they do that, but in this case it's just a rare. Kind of seems like a waste of reward in that case. And then there's the description if you need to read it, but I read it, so you can always feel free to like watch after and maybe like pause during stuff like that. Oh yeah, I also did timestamps for the last video. I decided to do some timestamps in case people just wanted to get straight to duels. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Yeah, so now in case anyone was wondering, I put it out now. It took a little bit because like I was kind of busy, but I finally got to it before the next video came up, which is good. Oh, I think I also need to share the link to the Twitch on here. Anyway, if anyone is enjoying my content, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you like my content well enough, because that's the biggest help is subscribing. So yeah, you can technically activate more than one, but I'm not going to. And that's unfortunate. I think I better just do the Vaylantz then. Yeah, so but I kind of need to do it like this, or else I won't get the effect. I can at least still normal summon stuff, just can't special summon stuff. So I'll still be able to get the search here, which is pretty nice. Anyway, I might as well add a Vaylantz spell. I think the best one is still going to be the field spell, if I don't already have it. Oh wait, this one adds a field spell. Okay, so this is the best one. Because it can also search my Sense Switch. I'm not sure if right away, but eventually. So, I don't think it really matters too much since both players can activate both effects. I'll go ahead and do the Koenig. Destroy one pendulum monster you control, and if you do, add one Sense Switch. Yeah, I guess I might as well. Yeah. Yeah, I will. Oh, it doesn't go to the X deck. Okay. Well, that's good to know. So in case anyone else was wondering, I always forget how it works with the pendulums. So I'll turn this off. But yep, that's how it works. I was wondering if, like, I got that wrong. And I did. So actually, I think Dimensional Fissure is not really a good card if you combine with Vaylantz, because you really want them going to the X deck face up, so you can like spec summon them later, or maybe other reasons why you want them X deck. Anyway, might as well do this then. Oh well, that's not too bad. What does this one do? You can return this card to hand if you do spec summon one level 2 or lower or a higher S plus monster from your hand. I don't think that really does much though. But yeah, I can use this and then go into, well, I can't really go into my the Night Chaser now. But I can at least put this. Oh wait, I can? I thought I wouldn't be able to. Whatever. They place that opponent's monster face up as a... Okay, now we're gonna see what happens if my opponent has a card directly behind it. It might just go into the other zones, but we'll see. Let's check this. So now what happens? Oh! It destroys the trap. Oh, it destroys whatever's directly behind it, so I can place a monster in the back row. So that's how that works. Oh, that's cool. So, and then with the Senate Switch, you can basically make sure... Oh wait, no, this is only for your monsters, but maybe for some of the other monsters that moves the opponent's stuff. Some of the other cards that moves the opponent's stuff, you can basically do that as a way to get rid of back row. And that doesn't actually count as like destroying them, I'm pretty sure. So even if it was like a spell or trap that like couldn't be destroyed, it still would be, because I don't think that actually counts as like destruction that way. It's basically more of a replacement effect than anything. At least I think that's how it works. Why was I able to activate? How does this work again? You cannot spec summon non-Vaylantz monsters for the rest of his turn except from the X deck. Oh, that's cool, except from the X deck. So it kind of doesn't really mess. It still kind of does, because there's still main deck monsters that want to be. Oh, from your hand. So that's why I wasn't able to, because like that was one of the spec summon ones. I'll just go for the Night Chaser though. This is at least a quick effect. Spec summon one via Banish. Ooh, and then I'll definitely have one Banish because of the Fissure. So I might as well do that. Guess I can place it right here. Yeah, I don't think I can just yet, so Just gonna... Oh, I should have, like, done battle with this first, because that would have been more damage, but oh well. So if I don't win this time, I'm definitely gonna take out the Fisher. So this is actually the probably the worst deck you could put Fisher in. I mean, besides the other one that... So I guess it's really only, like, it's really just a Mekk-Knight that's really good with the Fisher. Like, the other two just kind of don't work for various reasons. So, I'll just allow that. And if my opponent tries to activate one of the fields... Wait, oh man. I should have... Oh, I guess that only works on the main phase. Dang it. Why wasn't it saying your opponent's about to enter battle phase? Or maybe I just didn't notice that. Whatever. At least with this, I can return to hand, special summon the Platina. And then I'll be able to special summon monsters. Ooh, I can special summon back the Night Chaser, that's pretty nice. I might as well... Ooh, and then I can go for the Justify if I do that, but... Then you can special summon one of your banished sports monsters. Oh, it shuffles into deck? Yeah, I think I got it then. I'm gonna special summon this. I guess I might as well. I mean... Don't really need to, but... Why does my opponent insist on, like, putting their monster where, like, one of the backwards? It's just gonna destroy it. I think I'm gonna move the... I can only move my own stuff. With this, I'll be able to... Ooh, move one of my opponent's monsters. Ooh, and then I'll be able to move in the way of this one. That's not bad, but... Cannot be used as material for the link summon of a link mob. Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna do... I think I will do the... Vaylantz World here. Get rid of that other monster. That's cool. I don't know why my opponent's not activating these. They could have used it to put their other monster back to the front row. I guess maybe there's something wrong with the opponent's code where they don't think to activate my own field spells. Maybe they're a little bit broken when it comes to like stuff that you give them. They just don't think to activate it. Anyway, another thing I want to mention is that I'm using a different controller this time, and sometimes it has a little bug where it says it's not an official controller, but it really should not be saying that because it is an official controller. I don't know why it's saying that. Wait, hold on. I don't think I even need to use a Platina here. Yeah, I can just use that, and then this one. I don't even need to use a Platina. Cool. There's a Justify. I'm good there. And... yeah, so anyway, it might say that, so don't be concerned. I don't know if it's actually going to do anything. And I checked the voice to make sure that you were still able to hear me with this new controller, and I don't think that's a problem either. I shouldn't put the Sense Switch there. But I'm not really getting a ton of pen jumps, so it's probably fine. This one also has an effect that lets me just special summon it. Yeah, I mean, I probably should wait though until my opponent actually has something. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait until my opponent actually has something. And then, what can I... Oh, it's one of these. That's not bad. Oh yeah, I can still use it as... I can still use this one as Link Material. I just can't really, I basically have to get rid of it before I go into a different Link monster. I guess this is one of the downsides of using access code with the Dimensional Fissure, because all my links are just going banished. But at least this can still target the link that was banished to gain attack. I'm just gonna go into battle though. So that wasn't too hard. But I'm glad I tested the whole Fissure thing, in case anyone was wondering how Dimensional Fissure worked with pendulums. I think that's pretty common knowledge at this point, but I keep forgetting. It makes sense that works that way, because they only get sent to the X deck if they're going to the graveyard, if they're about to go to the graveyard. But since Fissure just skips the graveyard and goes straight to the banish zone, they just get banished instead. But I'll just move on to the next deck now. Hopefully I don't spend as much time on this one, but we'll have to see. I'll be doing timestamps either way, so I don't think it really matters. Let's go into the... It's either going to be Bystial or Mekk-Knight. I'm going to do random again to see which one. Here, let's just do this again. 1. Okay, so it looks like it'll be Bystial next. S-Force Bystial. And this one is more of just like a Bystial... Like, not just the engine, but like that's the full deck with the S-Force deck. I had to make a few changes once again. This one's actually 40 cards though, so that's pretty great. So yeah. If you really wanted to, you could also use Shinobi Necro and Assault Synchron in order to be able to go into some of his synchros even. Since none of your Bystials are really tuners, just play some other tuners. And these tuners are great because you go into the Excel Synchro, you special summon back the tuner, the level 2 tuner, and go into Brone. But I kind of just like Stardust, and this doesn't even really mess up the Brone play. You could just tribute this off, go into Stardust, go into Brone. Most people don't really need to take up the space, but since I had space, that I had extra space. Oh, there was one thing I was thinking of I want to do. There's another rank 6 I could use that's in the Legacy pack. Here, I'll see if I get that. No, I won't use. Actually, I won't use it. It's like a Utopia Beyond. It's like a Utopia monster that changes all of the other monsters to 0 attack. But I don't think it's that important. So I'm not gonna try. I may open up a few legacy packs, and if I happen to get that, maybe later on if I'm going to rank 6s again, I could use it at that point. But for now, I'm just not gonna worry about it. And at least the legacy pack is still helpful for the Mosquito, which I still don't have. That rank 2 Mosquito guy. That's, I believe, a UI. Yeah, so anyway, unlike the other two, this is really the unique thing about this deck is it actually has some synchros. I can actually go into some synchro plays because the Shinobi Necro, when it's banished by a Bystial, that counts for it to be able to special summon itself. And then, Assault Synchron is also just good. Special summon itself. Also, it counts as a dark for the Bystial. So this is based more working off the fact that the S-Forces are all just a bunch of light and dark monsters. So it's working off of that fact. Yeah, and I'm not playing Dimensional Fissure in this deck because of the fact that I kind of need monsters in the graveyard in order to be banished, in order to be able to get out the Bystial monsters. So I don't think Dimensional Fissure would really work here. And this one kind of also works with the fact that some of the S-Force monsters also happen to get banished. And also, banishing the S-Force monsters can really help with, like, you have a few banished, so you can, like, get them back with the Night Chaser or the Platina, which is also maybe why it's pretty good that I'm running 3 Platina, because I'm, like, more likely to have banished S-Force monsters, because I'm banishing them with Bystials as well. And I think that makes Fissure also okay that I took it out, because the Bystials can just banish them. So they still have a good way to be banished. And if I ever have banished S-Forces that I want to be brought back to the deck or X deck, I can always do it with this one, which is pretty nice. And it's also another way to special summon Bystials out of my graveyard. And since this one also cares about graveyard stuff, that's another reason why. And they can be searched via the Rebellion, so I'm pretty likely to have some of these cards, even the ones that I just have one of. There's the Brandon Beast. See, and I basically already had all these cards too, because I was going heavy for the Bystial stuff, because I wanted to get some of these Bystial monsters for my for my Sprite deck when I still want to play the Bystials in that. Anyway, you could also kind of think as this as a way to kind of like one last hurrah before Serenir gets limited, because Serenir is about to be limited pretty soon. So this could be. So I'm also glad I'm playing this deck for that reason. I'm able to play it where the Serenir is not limited yet, because that would also affect it in solo mode as well. And then Pot of Extravagance. When I'm thinking, I'm not sure how good Pot of Extravagance is when I kind of want to not banish the Barone package, a little Barone package. But again, like, not a ton of cards I really need to care about. Really, it's just the 2 S-Force links and then the Synchro package. But it does still kind of stink when those still end up getting banished. That's why I kind of like the Pot of Prosperity a little bit better, because it also works when you don't have a whole bunch of cards in the X deck that you're caring about, but it also ensures that you're not banishing the ones you do. I kind of already talked about Bridgehead. There's a Specimen, running 2 this time because I had more room. And then Brandon Beast can also be searched for. That's why I only need to run 1 of each of these, because they can both be searched for. This one can destroy, it's another way to destroy stuff. And it also destroys opponent, like backward. It destroys backward as well. And it also can like help re-access my regained Wents in the graveyard. This one can only get them out of the deck, so this one's a way to get it out from the graveyard. Although I do only have 1 Branded Beast, so I won't be able to like kind of like just loop it, but that should be okay. Not sure how often my opponent's really gonna be destroying my branded stuff anyway. My brand spells and traps. And then there's a few ways you could like improve this deck if you were playing this on ranked. Of course, adding in the hand traps is always, maybe even a few of the hand traps that happen to be light or dark could be good too, because then you can later banish them off of the Bystials. I'm not sure how good Dimension Shifter would be though. But some other ways you can improve it would be you could put in the Bystial Dissipate as well. Not everyone plays that, but that's another synchro that you could utilize. And that's also technically another Bystial, but I thought like it's not always being used, so I'm just not going to play it because I don't want to use up another 30 URCP. And then a few other things you could do is maybe add in another Lubellion if you really want 3, but that point, like 2 is still fine. Maybe like you could also combine this with Dragon Link too. Like Bystial Dragon Link is also a pretty fun build. If you want doing S-Force with it. But that's kind of off topic. Maybe taking out the Pop Extravagance if you didn't want to have to risk losing the Synchro package or some of the S-Force, or maybe adding a few more of the S-Force, adding a few more extra copies so that Pop Extravagance isn't as likely to mess you up. Oh yeah, and of course, like, the more rappers, like, is probably a big thing. Oh yeah, and then, like, you could also add in a little Fallen of Albaz, fusion package as well, if you had that one, Bystial fusion. Or, like, I think there's one fusion that adds, branded cards as well, so you could do that. Wallow is there, because if I get 2 level 6s, which Platina can also be a level 6, so it can also be another way of getting into this. And maybe if I can get more than one, more than like just 2, that'll just make for a better AA Zeus. I'm probably not even going to use the effects just so I can like have as many materials on the AA Zeus as possible if I can go into it. And I figured like AA Zeus was probably best in this deck anyway, since the Bystials are pretty easy special summon like multiples of, and so I might be able to go into a fairly good sized Wallow before I go into AA Zeus, AA Zeus, and AA Zeus can work pretty well in Bystials, because like if you wipe the field, you can still have like graveyard fodder to banish for the Bystials. So it's not too bad. And you can even quick effect special summon them. So maybe you can even get like negates later on in the form of like Baldrake or like a banish. Other kinds of disruptions. Even if you wipe the field with Zeus. Almirage. Since I have a few monsters I can bring it out. Night Chaser. Oh yeah, and also Almirage is great because it gets those monsters into graveyard, so you can like more quickly banish them for the Bystials. Night Chaser, once again, Erratic Seal. It's another basically free one that you can put into the graveyard, but it also like you're really not going to make use of the. Oh, this also like special summons one of your dragons. It may put them at 0, but it does allow you to still get the effect, which is nice. While also giving you like another light fodder in the graveyard. Phoenix, IP Masquerade once again, and these are like pretty much straightforward. Kind of the same again. Anyway, let's get into the next duel here with the Bystials. You can feel free to read the duel description if you like. Maybe pause it. Read it real quick. Yeah, so I'm going first this time. I'm not sure if I went first or second the last time. But this one's going to be a bit harder. And this time my opponent's actually using... Did I show up the opponent's deck last time? I think so. I think I'll just show off all the opponent's decks after all these duels here. Yeah, so I can add an S-Force, might as well. So now this one, but unfortunately, I still have Platines in deck, so that's not too bad. I'm gonna go with the Rappa. So now what I can do... Oh, this one allows me to add a Bystial. That's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go for the Rappa. Use the effect, banish this one. Oh, it returns itself to the hand. I guess that should still be fine. I'll go ahead and specimen the Platina here. Platina will specimen the Razor then. And then this one specimens the S-Force from my hand. Oh, that's cool. So, I guess I'll just go with the Rappa again. And this one can actually quick effect banish an S-Force card to specimen S-Force from my deck. So I'm not sure if I do want to actually like go into Justify just yet. Kind of want to keep the Rappa on the field. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Night Chase instead. Which one do I want to banish though? Probably the Platina, honestly. That actually seems really good. I wonder. Nah, probably... Nah, I think I kind of have to go with Razor. Put that down. And now I can still go for the Rebellion, send to the graveyard to specimen one of my Bystials. Or add. I might as well do the Mekk-Knight. So now I can activate this. Banish the Edge Razor. And this way I can more guarantee that since I have a lot more Bystials than like I had the Fisher, so I can more guarantee that my S-Forces are getting banished still. Which isn't bad. What's nice is this ability will still trigger even if I get rid of it for like a Link Summon. Which I think I will. Ooh, and now I have this. But Wallow's probably better for later on. But actually, when calling your opponent's graveyard, kind of don't want to get rid of the Night Chaser. Actually, this might be okay. Maybe I will. Yeah, no, because I can like, now I can do the Platina later on. Yeah, this is still not bad. So I will get rid of the Night Chaser actually. It's unfortunate that I'm gonna get rid of the Mekk-Knight, but I think that's best. I think that is best to save the Rappa. It's nice that Justify allows me to use non-S-Force monsters for its Link Summon as well. As long as at least one of them is an S-Force monster. See, and here we go. So even though the Mekk-Knight was in the graveyard, I can still add something. I think I'm gonna do the Baldrake is pretty good too. You contribute one of the light or dark monsters and then target one of those specimen monsters, banish it. That's not bad actually. I think I will go with the Baldrake. Oh yeah, the Monarchs, that's right. Okay, so I'm just gonna negate its effects then. Move it And then I'm also gonna use the Baldrakes as well. So I'm gonna banish. Do I already have a Platina in graveyard? No, but I can. No, but I will. So I might as well do the Night Chaser here. I'm not gonna do the Rapper just yet, though. And also, this is kind of nice because it lets me control a little bit more which ones are getting banished. So I can base it based on what my opponent's doing. Which is a lot better for ranked, I would say. I might as well move it. Negates it. Now I can activate this. Banish the Platina. And then I can special summon that adds an S-Force card. I'm gonna do Platina though. I'm gonna special summon a Platina. I'm gonna special summon it right here. And then I can special summon when I banish S-Force monsters. I'm gonna special summon the Night Chaser. Okay. That's cool. Oh, there's the Razor again. So now what I can do is I can actually tribute off the Bystial to special summon this, which I think I will. Put in attack. And then activate the Lubellion. This one, I think it just places it face up, so I'll be able to activate either one of these right away. But I think I want to do this to destroy the back row. Yeah, it places it face up, so that's pretty awesome. Because if it would have just said it, I wouldn't have been able to activate it right away. And now I can get rid of this card. Tribute a monster. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do, gonna place that back. Now I can special summon the Platina right back, and I'll be able to special summon the Razor. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so now I can special summon this, get out the other banish. That's cool. Now I can special summon an S-Force, which Rapper is my own target right there, but that's fine. That's a really good. Now I can just banish the Razor from my hand, turn it, and special summon the one that adds an S-Force card. Or I could honestly just destroy the Monarch card. Yeah, I think I better do it like that. Add one S-Force. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Lapswell actually. Oh, and now I can special summon an S-Force card. That's cool. And then I'll just... Oh, and it stacks too. That's pretty great. But I'm just gonna do this to destroy the monster anyway. Cool. Now I can go for... Wallow. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do Wallow. Yeah, see, and there you go. There's an example of how I can have multiple level 6s. I forgot the Lapswell was also a level 6. So, and then and then of course that's nice because it gives all my guys extra attack. So what do they have in the graveyard? I could possibly do Monarchs, but I'm not going to. Okay, cool. This is kind of another reason why Fisher isn't as good, because then it allows your opponent to actually get monsters into the graveyard for this effect and also the boost. It's nice that that's a quick effect too. I think this controller, this new controller, also has a lot more vibration power in it, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't mind it. It just feels different. But yeah, I definitely got it like in good condition. It was still in box and everything, so I don't know why it sometimes says it's not an official controller, but if anyone knows, they can let me know. Anyway, here's the last deck. And then I'll show off the 3 opponents deck as well. As for Mekk-Knight. And the nice thing about this one, I think I recently got a Royal Finish Mekk-Knight. And so now I'm actually able to... Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I'm sorry. But I'll do it for this one. I'm going to try to switch mate. For this last one here. I need to remember to do that, but I'm sorry, I forgot for the first few. But now that I actually remembered, I'll do it. Let's see. Actually, what are the mates I already have? I'm going to use one of my mates I already have. I don't want to buy another one just yet, so different mates. Let's see, which one would be the best for the Mekk-Knights? That'd be good if I was playing Cyber Dragons, but I'm not. Oh, this would have been good with the ninjas. Or maybe pretty much any of the duels with the sub-tiers, but that would have been good for the Ghost Tricks. Let's see, what's a good one for Mekk-Knights? Not really anything. Oh boy. I guess this one could work just because Mekk-Knights kind of have a connection with the Orcus and the World Legacy. So I'll just go with that. It's pretty much my best one, I think. I'll just go with that one. And I haven't ever used her yet anyway, so. This isn't it. I need to go in solo mode. Oh yeah, the Duel Trial too. Yeah, it ended. If anyone saw my stream, I kind of talked about the deck. Ooh, but I can still show off the... There's probably pretty much no point. Did anyone end up using any of the loner decks to get your wins, or did you try using the my decks? This is the deck that I went with. It's basically just a sub-tier ninja, but I added a few cards like the Maxi and the Ash Blossom. Or not the Maxi, but the Ash Blossom and the Infinite Impermanence. You can pretty much use almost the entire deck. And I still went with the 2 Goos. Because, like, 3 wins shouldn't be that difficult. But yeah, I pretty much used most of the deck. I had to get rid of the Sprite Elf for it. I forget what I put in instead of the Sprite Elf, but yeah. Yeah, I got rid of the Sprite Elf for something. I forget what I what I replaced for that. But I also got rid of the Sub-Terror as well. I also got rid of that Sub-Terror guy, since he's not really that great of a fit. Since I only had like the 2 Gurus, which were my only 2 flip effects. I forget what I got rid of. Oh well, maybe the access code I put in? I think I already had the access code in there. Anyway, so yeah, here's the deck that I pretty much used, and you pretty much saw this from, the last, stream I did here with the Sub-Terror Ninja solo mode. And I thought, like, this was my best one, so I'll just use in this as well. I didn't really want to go with the sprites, because, I can't, like, using the Frog engine is a little more awkward if you're using it with the Live Twins, which I think is the best way to play it. So I just went with this instead. I mean, also not using the Frog engine, but whatever. Since I liked it well enough to play in the solo mode, I wanted to give it a spin in the ranked mode. And I think it went pretty well, for the most part. You probably do want to be putting in the Ash Blossom and the Infinite Impermanence, though, and maybe a few of the hand traps, though, just to have a better time when you're not going first, since this deck doesn't really have a lot of, like, just defenses when going second, which I think it's true of a lot of decks. It's pretty good, just by itself when going first, like, with its 2 archetypes, but going second is a little bit of a different story. But yeah, that's what I used for the TCG restriction. I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I didn't really even mind not using it. Anyway, and I'm not sure how often I'll be using it anyway, so I just like wanted to give it one final hurrah, kind of before I set it down. Here's the last of the S-Force decks, now that I changed a mate, before I forgot. It is S-Force Mekk-Knight. Ah, come on. Okay, here it is. Yeah, and it has a little bit of a... Yeah, there's the Royal Finish card that I got, so I thought, like, hey, that's pretty cool. I had a lot of the Mekk-Knights, like, maybe, like, a few of these that maybe should be at 3 I didn't have. I think... Oh, I also already had a Mekk-Knight the Morning Star, too, even. So, and I even have it hollow, too, which is pretty cool. I just didn't have some of the Orcus cards that they wouldn't be put in as well, like you could play the Galatea with the Dingirsu. Galatea doesn't really work all too well without the Dingirsu, since you're not really playing a bunch of other Orcus. I guess you are playing this, but I only have 1, and I don't think Galatea is going to work too well. I don't think so. I did have 2, but... Oh, I do have 3. Can target one of your banish... Oh, yeah, this one wants you to be playing Orcus spells and traps, which I'm not playing Orcus spells or traps. So, really, the only reason she's going to be placed in this deck is for the Dingirsu. But since I don't have Dingirsu, she's not really needed. So I decided I'm just going to not use her then. I'm using Link Spider because Girsu creates normal tokens, so I can use that for Link Spider to make a normal into an effect monster, which can be pretty useful for some of these monsters that call specifically for effect monsters, which aren't really a lot of them, but like there are a few that call specifically for effect monsters. Also, it can be useful for Crusadia because I can easily go into like Link Spider, which is a special monster from the X deck, which Crusadia Avermax calls for specifically. This also calls for effect monsters, so it can also be useful for that. Then if, yeah, so Gyasu can basically give you two link materials, which is pretty nice. While also giving the opponent one, but, and, I mean, like, they had to make a drawback somewhere. And then this one can add Mekk-Knight monsters, so that's pretty cool. So that's the Searcher, and then this one can, is another way to add Mekk-Knight monsters. While also, like, quick effect, allowing you to, like, banish some of your Mekk-Knights, so that, to, like, protect them from various effects, which can be pretty nice. It's kind of like a bigger wind-up rabbit at the same time, since it's a quick effect banish, which can be pretty useful. And since you're moving stuff around, you can maybe, like, make sure that you put, like, you're moving stuff around with the Justify, so you can make sure you put into, like, a place where you already have maybe something set, so, to give your Mekk-Knights a little bit of an easier time to be special summoned. So that's kind of where it comes into play with the S-Force. There's a reinforcement once again. Still only have, like, pretty much these targets. More likely than not going for the Rapper. World Legacy. And then I do have a few cards which kind of stinks that, like, I'm playing Fisher. If I put down the Fisher and I don't have anything special summon with this one, kind of stinks. But I think for the most part, it should be fine. This deck I think actually can work with the Fisher though, even with the Mekk-Knights combined with it. Like, because, like, I'm only having a few, like, cards I'm not really searching a lot for. Like, I don't think that, like, care about the graveyard. Oh yeah, and this is another deck where I'm playing the Path of Extravagance. I think this deck would probably make better use of the Extravagance, since I don't know how important this one is, so if I accidentally banish it, it's probably okay. I only had one of these anyway. Oh yeah, this can search for World Legacy cards, so this can technically search for World Legacy Secrets. So this can search for the ones that get stuff out of the graveyard, but maybe I'll already have a few cards in the graveyard anyway. And maybe, like, if I have the Fisher out, I just don't search for, like, the Secret. At least the Secret is still useful, even if I can't actually special summon stuff. Stuff as well. Though. I just don't, like, search out the World Legacy Succession, since really its only purpose is if I have monsters in graveyard. There's a World Legacy Key as well. This one actually works pretty well with the Fisher, since this actually does care about banish stuff, and it's another negation thing. Memory is fine because it, like, returns it to the hand, which is pretty nice. So it doesn't have to worry about getting banished. But I don't know. If I banish it anyway off to its effect, like with the Purple Nightfall, and it doesn't even really matter. And then a few of the other Mekk-Knights I'm running one of are useful for, like, pretty much destroying stuff. And then this one can, like, reorganize some of my Mekk-Knights. And then this card doesn't actually have a graveyard effect, so it won't get in the way of, like, it won't get in the way of, and it really only works if it's, oh wait, it can also be special summoned. I think I can special summon it with the Succession though, so even though it's level 7 and doesn't have a way to special summon itself, it'll probably still be fine, because it can still activate its effect on special summon. I can special summon it with the Succession stuff, but it's not that important if I don't. Okay, That I think, and then I kind of talked about the Link Spider. There's the Morningstar. I kind of talked about that too. Lena, yeah, Lena and Doc because I needed some extra room. But it's fine if they can't get the effects because of Fisher. They can still search for things. Luckily, they don't have to actually go to a graveyard after being destroyed in order to get that search. So they'll still be useful. Sprite Elf really only matters if I actually have monsters in graveyard though, but if I don't, it's fine. Nightmare Unicorn, there's a Justified, there's a Crusading Avamax. So I used IP Masquerade in all of these decks because like there were a lot of links. But I mean really if I was gonna recreate the decks, Fisher would probably be the only deck I'd be running it in because the other two don't really work as well with Fishers for various reasons. The Pendulum doesn't because like because the Pendulum monster will just be banished instead of going to the X deck face up, and then the Bystials would rather be banishing stuff through their hand means in order to like get themselves special summoned. So that would be the unique thing about this deck if I was to remake it. The unique thing about the Bystial deck would I guess be the Zeus. And then the unique thing about the Vaylantz deck would probably be, I guess, the Senate Switch, just because, like, that one you can actually, like, search for it pretty easily, because, like, you have a few ways to search for the spell that searches for the Senate Switch, which is pretty nice. Yeah. And then, Lena and Doc, yeah, they can still search for things. They're mostly just searching for the S-Force, though, because all of the Mekk-Knights are too big in defense. Yes, and then this one is actually a pretty nice reward because it's 200 gems. The last one was 2 legacy tickets, which isn't too bad. Okay, let's get into this one. Yeah, I'm thinking this stream will probably be around 2 hours, which is pretty good. I was actually thinking about maybe starting this at 12 instead of 11, and I'm glad I did 11 because, like, it would have went into my lunchtime. I was saying, like, just in case, I should probably start at 11 still. Even though I don't really have an official time for this. So I only activate this if I actually have a banished Mekk-Knight. Really. I guess I can technically activate it before. I got the combo again, so that's nice. The combo with Rappa. And what's nice about this is she gets returned to hand before I get the special summon. So now I still can special summon her out again with the Razor. So even if... So like in this case, since she's the only target, it's good that she got returned to hand first. Ooh! And what's also nice is I can already go into make sure I have a way to special summon the Purple Nightfall. This one might be the most awkward to use with the S-Force, the Mekk-Knights, because I'm not sure how important the Mekk-Knight link is. I don't think it's super important though. I'll just go for the Justify. And now I can just set this and then special summon the Purple Nightfall right there. And then I can banish to add another Mekk-Knight, while also making sure that I can special summon that now. Might as well add this one. Equal to, actually no, probably not. So I'll be able to move that, but you can banish one Mekk-Knight. Done. Add to your hand, that's cool. I can always set it up for a later turn with like the gear suit. I think I'm gonna set it up for a later turn. So I'm gonna get the, because none of these are quick effects, I don't think. Except for this one, but this is only about moving. Don't really need that. I'm just gonna go for the blue sky. Not special summon it just yet. Yes, I'm just gonna go for this. Or should I? Until the standby phase of your next turn. What is this one? That activates in the same column as the Mekk-Knight you control. Oh, that's why I want the one that moves itself. I wasn't even thinking about that. Whatever. I can already ban, just use Justify to negate stuff. And my opponent didn't even summon anything anyway. And this is nice because I can also special summon S-Forces out of my graveyard too. So I'm gonna go for... don't really have a good one. I guess I can go for Rappa. It does have a graveyard effect, so what is this graveyard effect again? To move one of my S-Force monsters? Okay. There's the Purple Nightfall again. Okay, now this time. Oh, it can be any S-Force card. Nice. This card is... Yep. I'm gonna go with the Purple Nightfall then. Special summon that. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and add... I don't think I really have any graveyard effect based Orcus. I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Speller Trap removal though. That seems good. Probably one Speller Trap and this card's called. I'm gonna go ahead and move this. Move my S-Force monster. Move it right here. And now I can special summon this and I'll be able to add 2 Mekk-Knights, which is nice. Okay, so now I can add probably this one. And then I'll also add the gear suit. That's cool. Okay, I should probably go for the... Ooh, I can go for... No, I'm not going to do that. Add a World Legacy card. Ooh, that's not bad. I'm going to go for the Phoenix, though. Oh, I have to. Oh yeah, I have to go into. Yeah, I might as well. That kind of stinks though. I don't know if that's actually worth it. I don't think it is. I think I might as well just go for the access code. Yeah, and I can still place it right here. This to give it 3,000 extra attack. And then I can still banish the justify. I think I'm gonna go ahead and destroy this one. Cool. And then I'll go ahead and do this one to destroy the other one. By banishing the blue sky. Cool. Nice. Okay. And now I might as... Ooh. Oh yeah, and another reason why Link Spider is so good is because it gives me another attribute. Because I think Link Spider is a... Yeah, Link Spider is an so it's a different attribute. So that's pretty cool. Because I don't think Earth is one of my more common attributes in my X deck. So I'll go ahead and go with the Gear Suit then. Activate. Select a card to send to graveyard. I think this one. Oh, I can't go. I can't special summon it? Why not? Oh, if there are two or more other cards. Oh, okay. So that cares about columns as well. I didn't realize. I could have put it here and then I would have been able to set it. Whatever. It's fine. I can still go for the unicorn though. I think I might as well. That should be... Is that game? Oh man, this is... Oh, and then I can actually get the S-Force Justified, I think? Because it's any banish monster. Okay, yeah, this is pretty great. I'll go ahead and still do this. And then I should be able to get the Justify out. Yeah. Cool, and now I can special summon out the Justify. That's pretty great. And now I can more easily go into the... Oh, I can just go into the Underworld Goddess. So... Wait. No, I can't. No, I might as well, because that'll still be game. Actually, I think it has to use face up. Yeah, no, it has to be a face up monster that I'm using. If I'm using one of my opponent's field. Man. Could still go for Night Chaser. You can special summon with banish S-Force. Which I don't have. S-Force monsters, which I don't have. I guess I might as well go for the unicorn then. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the unicorn. And now I have enough. Now I have enough. Whatever, it's fine. I'm just gonna discard that then. Shuffle this back into the deck. Okay, now I can just... That's cool that this isn't a... That the effect to destroy spells and traps is 100 once per turn. So if I had that one that allowed me to move Mekk-Knights, I could just move this and maybe destroy another one. And this is game. Pretty cool. That was an OTK right there. Well, no, not exactly. Actually, no, I think this was turn 3, so technically an OTK, since this was the first time I could actually attack. Not bad. And now I'll show off the 3 opponents decks. Here's the 3 opponents decks. So this first one is technically not very pure because it also includes some of the Stygians, which works pretty well. Also a few like more security based monsters, because like S-Force is kind of like more security, because security force is what it stands for. And the deck description reads, S-Force Rapper Kaiomaru has the effect to return itself into your hand and special summon other S-Force monsters from your deck. With this feature, you may summon high-level monsters onto a field that is a centerpiece of the S-Force. Also being a level 2 monster, this may be special summoned during your opponent's turn by using effects of Little Trooper and Graceful Revival. Probably not that important though, but yeah, this one also special summons the Rapper from the deck since it's a level 2 warrior. No reinforcement for this deck though. Yeah, and then it's Mad Reloader, which can get you another draw, but like these tend to be a little slow because they have to be destroyed. This one can actually special summon Fiend. So I guess it's basically either more copies of itself or a Mad Reloader then. Little Trooper. Yeah, this one can also just special summon itself from the deck. Wait, no, it can't. Oh, yes, it can because level 2 or lower. It can also get the Rapper, but the other thing besides it being slow is it's face down, so you basically have to wait until your turn and hope that your opponent doesn't just destroy it. But at least, like, technically, if they have more than one attack, like, I would, if I was just destroying this by battle, my opponent could opt to just special summon another one of these and until I run out of attacks for the Rapper. Necrogardener can stop attacks. And then a few of these can just be more defensive stuff, like negating effects. This one negates. This one was one of the ones I didn't show off, just because it's just not as good. It just changes battle position, which isn't really all that great of an effect. You're more looking to just use the cards that like help advance your game state the most, your board state the most. Or Fist. Yeah, this one can also destroy, but like it's not bad. It just doesn't negate effects, and I'm not sure what happens if like you like act. I think if you activate your justifying response, this can basically miss timing at that point. I'm not sure though. It might not miss timing. So you might be able to both negate the effect and then destroy it afterwards, but I mean most of the time I think negating the effect is pretty much good enough. I think that's why people opt to not use that one. This one can just be a bonus, but there's not really a lot of Cybers. Like this isn't like an all Cyber stack, so probably not. If there were more Cybers, it could probably work better. And then there's Showdown, another way to special summon stuff. But this one, but the Chase is probably the better one, just because it doesn't just add to your hand; it special summons it instead. And it can special summon it from the Banish Zone too, which can be useful as well. Security Orb. So that could potentially destroy stuff. And it's another one that changes position. And also these like change position stuff don't really work on links, so they're getting a little worse because of that. And then Specimen. Oh wait, this is the one that special summons from the Oh yeah, Chase is the one that like returns like opponent's monsters to the hand, or maybe banishes them if you have that one S-Force card. Although I wasn't able to show that off, but I was able to get it off in the duel that I had. I lost it though because like I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing. I was trying to practice a little bit with the Bystial one. 3. Okay, well there's the first deck. Here's the next opponent's deck. This time it's combining it with the Monarchs. The effect of Edia, the Heavenly Squire, is often used to special summon Eidos, the Underworld Squire, to combo into tribute summons. However, you can also use its effect to special summon S-Force Rapper Kayamaru, which I guess is kind of cool, like that this one can special summon Kayamaru from your deck, since it also happens to have 800 attack and 1000 defense. Upon using the effect of Edia, the Heavenly Squire, that turn, you'll not be able to special summon a monster from the X deck. However, you can also special summon with the effect of Reinforced Truth during your opponent's turn and activates effect to add variety to your tactic once your turn arrives. I don't really know how I feel about combined Monarchs with the S-Force, because some of its monsters I kind of want to be running are the Justify. By having an X deck, it kind of makes the Monarchs a little worse, because their main field spell likes it when you don't have an X deck. This one. So this one just gets in the way, because now you basically just turn off the first of these effects until you no longer have an X deck. I mean, I guess what you could technically do would be just running Night Chaser and one Night Chaser and one Justify in the X deck. But my opponent's just having a full X deck with this card, so the first effect is probably never going to be on, which is, I think, kind of a big deal, because that's a good effect. Just locking an opponent from being able to special summon stuff from the X deck. I mean, you can technically just run one Justify and one Night Chaser, but I don't know, and then you have to turbo them out. I still don't know. I feel like you're kind of just trying to, push it at that point. Yeah, but, yeah, so besides that, oh yeah, here's another card that I didn't show off. Kind of cool that, it has an easy enough special summon, but I think, you're already special summoning well enough that you don't really need the dog tag anyway. And I don't think I had the dog tag anyway, so probably wasn't going to put it in anyway, since this is not that important of a card. And then, yeah, tribute summoning. I guess another nice thing about, combining this with S-Force is S-Force also has a few higher level monsters. So if you're not tribute summoning for some of the Monarchs, you could also tribute summon for the Platina, which could be useful. And the Platina can also get its effect off of being normal summon, off of being tribute summon. So that can work. And then you can just tribute her off as a monster for other things that allow you to just tribute some monster or bring them out. Reinforcement, yeah, once again, the only warrior in here is going to be that Rappo. There's 1-for-1, which is bring out the Edia, which can also bring out the Rapper if you didn't want to bring out the Eidos instead. So you're basically trading off, maybe tribute summoning a little bit for getting out Rapper. Luckily, this is pretty much the only card that cares about you not having an X deck. The other ones are fine. Pantheism. And they do offer, extra draw, searching, extra ways of getting rid of opponent's stuff without necessarily having to destroy them in case the opponent, in case I was to bring out something that was immune to destruction. Escalation also. Escalation this can also be a way to bring out Platina as a quick effect too. But I still don't think that's very needed. So I think this might kind of just be the weakest, the one that you kind of just like, I don't know, like the one I'm feeling like most not okay with, just because like I kind of feel like you get in the way of the domain. Like I think Monarchs are better. Like if you're gonna combine Monarch with something, you should probably combine it with like maybe like a deck that's like huge into ritual summoning, because ritual monsters aren't put in the X deck. Yeah, because that lock is pretty good. You kind of do want that lock, the one that keeps the opponent from being able to special summon X deck monsters. Photon Strike Bouncer in the game stuff. That's another level 6 that can be played. So there are a few other level 6s that can be played. Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. I think this one kind of got... Oh, this one I think was recently introduced in Duel Links, if I'm not mistaken. So that calls for 2 level 8s. So at least the Monarchs also allow for rank 8 summoning now. Hope Harbinger for negating spells. And so this one might actually be the best opponent's deck. It's kind of another security one actually. But this time it's like also like utilizing the Go-Yos. So it's a little bit different, but it's still got that security feel. This deck specializes in special summoning to your opponent's monsters, destroyed and bow to your field by using cards such as Go-Yo Guardian. The effect of S-Force Professor Digamma allows you to check the opposing monster's attack and defense, and change its battle position depending on the value. Use this wisely to take them down in combat. Use your opponent's monster as part of your tactics to link summon S-Force justified to bring your opponent down. Yeah, that only changes battle position of face-up monsters. If this could change battle positions of face-down monsters, maybe it would be more useful. There's the Sijin Security, which can still only just bring out itself. Jute Fighter, yeah, see. Wow, just basically a weaker version of Digamma. At least it's a tuner though this time. Yeah, just simply change it to like battle position is probably not really worth it all that much. This one is kind of cool because you can special summon, trade out basically one monster for 2 if it can be, and like you could trigger your self attack into a high attack position monster. Gate Blocker. Negating field spells. So this one I think is also more about like just basically turning off either monsters or field spells, or kind of like locking them down. So like this one can kind of this one just decreases attack. Montage, it basically just a huge beat stick. There's a Reinforced Truth again. The Sanglost Star for the Synchros. There's Wire Tap. Yeah, see another negation one. This one is actually pretty good because it, like sometimes, shuffling stuff back into deck is usually much better than simply putting it into the graveyard, because some traps actually want to be in the graveyard. They actually have graveyard effects, but I mean, I guess you could technically search for traps, but a lot of the times that's not really a matter. Yeah, and then these ones care about you having like Earth Warriors, like which, I mean, a lot of your Synchro monsters are Earth Warriors, so that can be useful. And then the S-Force monsters on even synchros. And the reason, I think the main reason why my opponent's not even playing the Night Chaser is because this solo mode gate came out before Night Chaser was a thing. So that's also the reason why I don't think any of the loner decks also include the Night Chaser. And of course Konami is probably not going to care enough to update it to, like, because then they have to, like, I mean, they could take out one card to put in, but that might be a lot of work, so feeling like, it's not really that worth it. Most people probably already got the gate done anyway. Some of these have extra attacks to them, which can be kind of cool. Some of these have like ways of stealing opponents' monsters from the graveyard, which can also be useful not only for giving the controller more resources, but also like but also because like it takes a monster out of the graveyard. So in case like it had like some kind of graveyard effect they wanted to later use. Although Fisher is just like a natural counter to this deck, because they have to be going to a graveyard. Like this one says it has to be going to a graveyard. It's Signal Warrior. Probably one of the weaker Synchron X monsters. Just need to build up a bunch of stuff like that. This kind of goes off of the speed duel, but it's unfortunate that it's just not very good. Go-Yo King. There's so many Go-Yo monsters nowadays. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, none of them are very good. There's a gravity controller. Okay, that's pretty much it. So if anyone has anything else they want to say about any of the decks, you can feel free. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. And I want to wrap it up. Still not too bad on time, so I can spend a little bit more. I think what I'm going to do, what I need to do now, is I need to do a little bit of the Duel Live. I need to do the Duel Live mission real quick. And now see what other missions I need to take down. If anyone wants me to, maybe I can try one of the decks in ranked, since I need to take down a few missions anyway. Otherwise, I think I'm just gonna use my reliable Sprite Live Twin deck. Or maybe if anyone wants to me to play any of those sub-terror decks I have, which I still have. Okay, so this doesn't really matter. Anyway, let's go into the... I don't need to collect them just yet. I will in a little bit, but for now, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I need to get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like I need to get rid of 2 more, I think. Yeah, 2 more. Okay, so I better do that real quick. But I think what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna collect the Duel Pass. Cool, so here's all the rewards I got. So yeah, which is nice because I wanted a little bit extra anyway. Ooh, Access Code Talk as the background this time. That's pretty nice. Yeah, of course, I think they had Hungry Burger as a mate this time around because, like, I think it came around when, like, when they still had the recipe one that was fairly new. Like, the recipe was fairly new. Or maybe it's about to come out, I forget. But anyway, let's go into a shop. I want to open some packs. I want to do the new pack opening to the special one. In case I get some cards I can place into the Live Twin deck. So I'm going to do this one first. Yeah, I'm not going to look at the cards included because literally pretty much every card is going to be included. I think except for the Legacy Pack cards, so there's no I don't think there's any chance of me getting the Mosquito, but maybe I'll get some other cards. One bonus UI. I don't know if it's guaranteed, if it's guaranteed to be just the non-glossy. I'm just gonna skip though. Ooh, I got a Royal Finish Vampire. That might... Maybe I could even include this in one of the decks I combine with another deck in the Boojers. Oh wait, how many of these do I have? The Mahatitsu Tatsu. Oh, I already had more than 3, so not very useful. Oh, the Ruddy Rose. Oh, I wasn't even able to go into a Synchro package in the Bystials. Dang. Whatever. Ruddy Rose. This can negate stuff. Got a card for Trickstars. Nice card for Trickstars. Sea Monster. Not really seeing anything I really need to use with my... Wow, I barely got any SRs and URs. Guess that could be about average though. I at least got a Royal Finish UR. So I can, like, at the very least, trade that in for extra CP later on too. Though it might be worth, like, hanging on to them in case, like, they get, like, hit on the list for whatever reason. That Hard Earth might come in handy. Phantasm Spiral. No, that's a pretty useful deck, but like there are a few more expensive cards as well. Oh, that might also not be a... I'm not sure if they actually combine the Phantasm Spirals with the Tennies. That might not be a bad idea. Anyway, there's that. It unlocked secret packs, but I don't think I'm gonna look at them. Here's some of the new accessories though that came. So they added wind icon frame now. Oh yeah, and then that secret pack here. There's one that you get a free pull. So this is the one with the Vaylantz. So this is a good one if you're looking to get the Vaylantz or the Golems. Which technically the Golems could work with the Vaylantz since they also happen to be Earth. I think that's also why they're included within the same pack. So yeah, you could technically just combine the two if you wanted to, since they're both Earth archetypes. That could be good. And then Transverser could come in handy too, like especially if you're running a deck that uses a lot of kaijus. Then you can like make sure you set up in a way where you can just steal the monster with Transverser. That can also work pretty well with Anima as well, because then you can just place the kaiju in a position where you can just steal with the Anima. Anyway, let's get my free pack here, and now I'll go ahead and do 100 legacy packs. Ooh, I got the Beast King. Not really the best though. Yeah, not really much to say talk about here. Bountiful Ornaments. A lot of them are rares also, so I could just easily craft them. This one used to be pretty good back in the day, but like nowadays, like it's pretty easy to just place down a 1900 attack monster just without any tributes. And you're probably barely ever going to get off its tribute of summon effect, because it can't just be spell summon with the tribute summoning. Maybe if it could, like, if it said you contribute 3 monsters, spell summon this card. If spell summon this way, destroy all cards your opponent controls, maybe then it could be pretty good, but kind of like that's kind of a big commitment right there. Even if you don't care about the normal summons, still feels kind of a big commitment. There's that secret pack again. Oh yeah, they also have the card case of the wind too, which might come in handy. A wind icon frame blowing a jade zephyr. It blows majestically under the blue sky. And this reads a deck box that depicts a harsh, violent gale, perfect for wind decks. Okay, now I'm gonna go into the. I might as well do this so it stops showing the notification. Now I'm gonna go into my legacy pack. Okay, so I'm gonna do 100. I really want to try to get that mosquito. Man, I still didn't get it. How many Heraldo Pure Lights do I have now? 5? Wow. Ancient Pixie, there's another synchro. Speaking of synchros, Judgment of Pharaoh isn't really that great since you have to play cards that you're not really going to be playing. I mean, it has some good effects, but you need to play the kind of bad cards in order to make them work. Tattoo Toti Dragon can be useful if you're playing any of those. Fusion Synchronous Seeds. But it looks like it's during very specific phases, so even then I'm not sure. Desert Locust can come in handy though if you're going to level 6s, level 6 synchros, then it allows you to like quick effect synchro summon. Crack Dragon, Cucumber Horse, Ultra Polymerization, Disposable Learner Device, Digit Jamming, Heraldo Pure Light, Number 58 Burner Visor, Shiranui Samurai Saga, Skull Guardian, The Fiend Mega Cyber, Insect Queen, Blade Knight, Mystical Knight of Jackal, Metalizing Parasite, Lunatite, Matazar the Zapper. People actually were trying to make use of this in the earlier festivals, just as like a way to quickly win. Oh wait, no, I think it was like with like, no, I think they were using more of the ones that like were giving an extra attack based on the equips they had. That was Helios, Comrade Swordsman, Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings. There's quite a bit. I think I'm just going to skip through most of these. Oh yeah, Evil Towers might become a lot better once the new evil monsters, evil sport cards come out. I don't think they've come out yet. There's another, I know it's another, yeah, and then the Keldo and Kelback, I actually did trade for some of these because these are kind of like gave rise to the newer Keldo and Kelback cards, which are actually pretty good now. Even in Macedol, with the milling, with all that milling, the milling top 5, pretty great. Unmatched Dragon for special summoning worms, kind of great. Fungi the Musk, Gaga Gigo, got a few of those, got a few World Legacy cards. Oh yeah, Echo Bio Drachmorn, I kind of like this card. I think I already got this card, I think I already talked about this, but I remember I used to have this card, I thought it was pretty great because like, it eventually destroys the equipped monster, and it keeps it from attacking too. But yeah, it's just a little slow, and then they can usually, like, there's so many ways of getting off the field nowadays, that they're probably going to be able to get off the field before it can actually destroy the card. Unfortunately. But maybe back in the day it could have been really good, when they weren't really like thinking about doing that nearly as much. Yeah, so anyway, I guess my favorite card out of all the packs I opened, I guess was that vampire one, the one that was a royal finish, that's a card that I can probably most likely see myself using. Maybe if I can play the vampires with one of the upcoming archetypes that are upcoming in the Solomon Gate, I might be able to play it with the Mayakashi actually, since that's another zombie based archetype. I might be willing to do it now because being able to use a royal finish feels kind of nice. Being able to make use out of it, just like how I was able to make use of the Mekk-Knight royal finish card this time. I'm not sure if you actually saw in the duel or not, but you did see that I had it in the deck, and I'm not going to try my luck on the 2-packs. Still didn't get the mosquito yet, though. Man. Okay, I'm going to go through the duels now. Let's do them. Okay, here we go. Yes, I'm going to... Yeah, that's the deck I was trying to use. Oh, did you actually... Now I forget. Did you actually see the mate? Yeah, I'm going to go back and see if you actually saw the mate. I think so. Yeah, there's a mate. Yeah, I know it's a mate. Yeah, there's the mate. Okay, good. You saw the mate. I think the other accessories show up too, though. I think maybe it just just shows up on my opponent's field as well. But I'm not sure if the mate shows up on my opponent's field as well. Yeah, I'll check that again. I'm gonna check that again just to see, because I'm kind of curious now. I think it does only show up. Yeah, I think it does. Someone can let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it does. I can't really find the duel. But yeah, I'm gonna change the mate back to what it was, since I'm going back to my regular deck. There it is. So since I'm going back to my regular deck, unless someone wants me to use a different mate than the Totally Awesome, I'm just going to go back to that. There's a Totally Awesome. What wallpaper do I have right now? I guess yeah, since it's kind of all done with Christmas, maybe I'll go to the access code talker this time, since there was a lot of access code talk in the duels today. I was able to at least go into it once, so that's cool. I thought we already had this wallpaper. I guess not. Maybe it was one of the things on the main menu, but we didn't actually have it as a wallpaper until now. So I think I remember seeing it in the main menu, but I guess we must have never had it yet. Anyway, here's the ranked duel, just so I can get a few of the missions done. Playing my live twin sprites, if anyone wants to take a look a little bit about that. I think I'm just going to timestamp the solo mode duels, though, like I did the last time. If anyone wants to timestamp the other duels, they can feel free, but I'm just going to timestamp the solo mode duels. Also the deck overviews for each of them. Hopefully I can get done with this pretty soon, because it is getting a little late now. Okay. Okay, there's the live twin Sunny Snitch. Yeah, you know what? No, I don't think I need to. Oh yeah, then after this duel, after I get all the missions, I'm gonna have to do the... And I'll also do the Goosebumps real quick as well, since I didn't get to that on Monday. So hopefully this doesn't take too long to get the missions done. Hopefully they end up being pretty simplistic missions. Luckily one of them was the solo mode mission, so that's less missions for ranked. And then I'll go for the gigantic sprite. So now I use gigantic sprite effect to go into the sprite blue. And then sprite blue will add the jet, and then jet can add one of my probably the smashers, because I already have the double cross. And since I'm going first, the one that increases attack won't be as useful. I can always add that later on. There's the jet. Jet will add the smashers. I could also tactically add the starter. Wonder if I should. Yeah, maybe I will. I think I'm gonna go with the starter so I can get out the one that can negate spells and traps. I like that because then they have a harder time destroying my stuff. If they get rid of my front row, that kind of stinks. So I kind of want to make sure that my opponent doesn't do that. Okay, so those two, I need to get rid of the gigantic sprite so I have both of the live twins in my graveyard. I start out by getting out the Cacique. Cacique goes first because it's alphabetical order. I will also go ahead and do this starter. Bring out the Sprite Carrot. There's the carrot. Put in defense because I'm not going to be attacking. There's the Cacique. Okay, and then I can go into the Evil Twin Cacique. Okay, there that is. And then I'll go ahead and special summon my Lila. Now I can go for the Evil Twin Lila. Use both of those. Bring out the Cacique. Yeah, and then my Gaki matters a lot more when I don't really have an backup plan for if my field was about to be destroyed. Okay. And that might change. You might want to bring out the Lila first if it's more important that you destroy a card on the opponent's field. But in this case, the draw was more important because I didn't really have anything good to destroy. Okay, and then there's not two right there. Let's see here. And I even got a negate now, so that's good. Not a negate for monsters, but I think it's more important to have a negate for spells and traps. I guess it's up to you which one you think is more important. Either one could be important. So this activates when it's targeted. Oh, it just when it's targeted for an attack, or it also activates when it's targeted. And this targets too, which kind of stinks. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the spread elf in that case. So I'm just gonna bring out the blue. And then blue will go ahead and add the pixies. Yeah. Yeah, this is only that's a hard once per turn. Oh boy. So, I think I'm gonna call by the grave to negate the sage. And now I can save my Ash Blossom for the Maiden. Unless it just doesn't count as being targeted at that point. So that might also stop the Maiden too. Oh, that's pretty cool. It also stops the Maiden. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Cacique to take out the back row then. I'll just put it right here, I guess. And then Cacique will take out the back row. Once again, also pretty good since I have a few ways to destroy, and I have a destroy mission, which I don't think the sprite without the live twin package did as good of a job with. So now I might as well try to bring out red at this point. But first I'll go with the elf to bring out the jet. And then the jet will add the one that increases attack. Okay. Or I could do Smashers because this doesn't target. That's kind of nice. That doesn't target. Or my opponent just concedes. That's fine too. Hopefully that gave me at least 2 missions completed. Oh yeah, I still have the quiz. I guess I can do that then. Yeah, I'll do the quiz real quick then. Wait. Okay. Wait, what? What's going on? Hold on. MD proficiency test. Oh, I need to do it from here, so you can't just do it from the duel room section. Okay, I'm gonna try doing this test then. This gets me 5 more legacy packs, not bad. Now it's 8 questions this time, so it's getting a bit harder. Okay, which of the following monsters can be added to your hand with the effect of Return the Monarchs? Ooh, that's a little difficult. I think it's 2400 attack. I think it's stealth. Incorrect. Vanney's Fiend. What is the attribute of this card? Oh, fire. See, people may think it's water because it's a sous chef, but it's fire. Which still makes sense. It's like food. Like it's food getting cooked. Which card has an effect that forces each player to only control face-up monsters of one attribute on the field? I'm always confused about this. It's either Rivalry or Gozen. I think it's Gozen. Yeah, good. I'm always confused about, wait, is it Ravelry or is it Gozen? Which of the following accessories can be configured in the deck editor in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel? 4, 8, 5, 10? What? I don't know what they're talking about. 5? What does that even mean? Which monster is not depicted in the illustration of Cattle Call? Oh, that's kind of difficult. I think it's Skullbur? Wow. Oh, it's Rescue Rabbit. What type is this card? I know, that's a Spellcaster. What is the name of this card? Oh, wow. Fiend Scorpion might be too easy, but I'm gonna go with Fiend Scorpion. Okay, good. What type is this card? Oh, that's a Spellcaster as well, isn't it? No, it's a Wing Beast. Wait. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Wing Beast. It is a Spellcaster. I was right the first time. I failed. Dang it, I was so close. Yeah, let's try. Luckily, I can try again. I think it's the same answers every time. I guess we'll have to see. Oh, no, it is different. It is different questions. Okay, that's cool. What monster does Mate, Launch, Dragon transform into when they enter the battle phase? I think it's Nudiari? Good. I think Shiyu is the, fusion, maybe. Which of the following accessories? I don't know what they mean by this, but it's 5. You activate your Mystical Spirit Typhoon targeting Mia Force. Chain to your opponent's activation of Mia Force. Which of the following is the correct resolution? Attack position monster on your field is destroyed. It doesn't negate the effect. See, some people think it's just gonna negate the effect. The name of this card is Ghost Ogre. I think these are a lot easier questions this time. Wonder if they do that on purpose. What type is this card? I already know this one. That was the same. In We the Merry, Plunder, Patrol, and Solo Mode, which are the following described as having both speed and cannon power? I think it's Mowork. Oh, it's Bran. Which of the following effects cannot be activated until you activate Rite of Messier? Activating the effect of a normal summon monster. Yeah. Yeah, that's why it doesn't really work with sprites, because you kind of want to be able to do that. What is the attribute of this card? Fire. They're all fire. All the Sioux ships are fire. Nice. That was much better. Okay, let's see if I can get an explanation on 5. I don't know what they're talking about there. And there's a Nudiari. There's a better look at it. See, they all have the same color tail and hair, which makes sense. I don't get what they mean by 5. Does anyone know what they mean by 5? That's kind of weird. Yeah, attack position monster and field is destroyed. They don't really do much of a good job explaining it. And here's the names of all the other Ghost Sisters that they showed. Ash Blossom, and then there's Ghost Bell. Yeah, Spellcaster, it shows Spellcaster. Plunder Patrol Ship Bran. No summon a set monster can activate the effects, and then turn that Rite of Messier will be activated. Basically, just recopying that part of its effect. And then, yep, fire. Yeah, I guess I can read it. This one is a funny one. It's just a review. Finally got to visit that harbor specializing in Gunkin Sioux ships that I've been curious about for a while. The premium Shari here is limited to 2,000 Sioux ships a year and uses specialized develops smooth aged rice, giving it extra boldness not found anywhere else. The classic atmosphere made me a hot thing too. The Gunkin stew ship served had a perfect balance of vinegar, nigari, shine, and shape, demonstrating exquisite artisanship. See, praising them so much, and then Dona told me we are introducing rich yet mellow scented Edo front red vinegar in the near future, which I'm really looking forward to. See, praising them so much, and then at the end here, however, I was disappointed that surrounding seeds were a little noisy. So giving it 4 stars with hopes for improvements in the future. Yeah, how are they supposed to do that if the ship-based restaurant with hopes for it's that's how it goes sometimes for reviews. So I kind of like that, and also because like it's level 4, so 4 stars. Also, it's kind of nice how like if you do 500 and then times it by 4, it becomes 2,000. I'm not sure if that really says anything right there, but kind of cool. Anyway, so cool. What's my next clear condition I have to do now? 5 more legacy tickets. That's nice. Okay, there we go. Oh, another protector. Synchro Silver, protected with the design of a Synchro Summon Circle of Light for those who follow the path of light. Oh, that's actually a nice one. That's going to be useful for if I ever, for when I am playing decks with a lot of Synchro monsters. So the clear condition here is Fusion Summon 3 times, Synchro Summon 3 times, and Exceed Summon 3 times. Fortunately, this can only be done in Ranked Duel. And another unfortunate thing is, like, I don't really do Synchro or Fusion Summoning too much. I mean, technically I could with the Caddy. So I'd still be able to do that with the Caddy, but the Fusion might be a little bit harder with the sprites, because they don't really fusion too much. I'll do the test later too. I'm gonna have, maybe I can just get it done randomly while I'm doing like a Sun Festival though. I'm not too worried about it. Good, I got a bunch of the missions done. Which means now I can go over the verse and then the Goosebumps real quick. I don't want to spend a long time on either one because I gotta get going soon. So what do you think? If a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for the one that wandered off? That comes from Matthew 18:12, and that is a new international version. That's the only thing that I'm not really like talking about. Oh yeah, and by the way, if anyone really wants to support me in a more indirect way, you can always feel free to buy off of some of the affiliate links I'm showing off. I even have Keepon, which is more of a video game store, I think, but I haven't looked too much into that yet. Anyway, though, so my thoughts on this one, I think, okay, this one is more of a simplistic one, so that's good. So this one is basically saying, like, it's basically a metaphor, like, the shepherds cared so much about one sheep that, even with the 99, they still wanted to look for the one missing. So that's like Jesus, like, looking for the missing people, and that's why he wants us to call people forward who aren't believers yet, even though there's still quite a few, which is pretty nice. Like, I'm still trying to help out by, like, maybe I can, like, hopefully reach a few people on here. So, that's basically my thoughts on it. If anyone wants to go into a little more detail with me, like, you can feel free to either message me on Facebook or through my email, and if you don't know what they are, I can always link you to them, or we can just talk about it from the comment within the pinned comment that I like doing. I'll try to get that on the as soon as I can. And then for the Goosebumps now. So the next one I'm going over, I decided to take a little bit of a break from Goosebumps reading them, since I'm so ahead of you guys. I'm waiting until like I'm not as ahead, and then I can like go back into the Goosebumps. So here they are. So because right now I'm on Why I'm Afraid of Bees, but quite a ways from catching up via here. The next one I have here is the Haunted Mask, so that's only 11. I'm only on 17. So yeah. Anyway, the Haunted Mask. So this one is pretty cool. So I think I kind of like the book better this time. I'm gonna explain why. But first of all, did they like talk about the store right away? I'm not sure if they talked about the store right away, but like I think the prank happened a little bit later in the book than the TV adaptation, but that was okay. The prank was pretty much the same, so they kept the prank the same. So even with her friends, I'm not sure if she exactly explained how they were friends in the TV show though. So maybe some people may not catch that unless they read the books. So that's something I think maybe could have been a little bit better. But I knew they were her friends from reading that in the book, or supposed to be, like, but that felt like pretty cool pranks. I don't really like pranks going that far. I feel like kind of going too far with the whole worm thing. That was kind of nasty. And then, like, who wouldn't get, like, offended by that? Like, so, like, I mean, the whole laughing thing, I think, like, that, like, she was justified in that kind of reaction. I don't know. Like, especially with live ones, because if you're going to be eating stuff like that, like, I know people do, but, like, usually, like, you're having it cooked first, because it's a lot different when it's cooked versus when it's alive. And I'm not sure if they were alive in the book, but they were definitely alive in the TV adaptation. I think that it was about the same. So yeah, not very good, not very. I kind of felt like they went a little too far. So I don't really like that too much. And that was something that was consistent between both, so it kind of took it a little down for me because of that. Maybe they could have played more, like, less harmful, but maybe that was the whole point. You really Alstein really wanted to make sure that they were characters that you just wouldn't like, with, Carly Beth is her name. And what's her name? So, yeah, so pretty much that. And then I kind of didn't like how she, like, kind of just, like, the way she acted in the store in the TV version. Like, I think she was a little bit nicer in the book. But I know, like, the kind of the way, like, she acted in the TV version where she just took the mask and, like, threw the money on the ground. I think that's kind of what I did in a way. And I was kind of ashamed by that. So I kind of like how, like, in the book, like, he eventually just gave in so she didn't have to do that. So I think that was a little bit better. I think that's the main reason why I like the book more. And also I kind of like how like even with, like, adults, like, I feel like she was, like, offending even just adults, offending them much more in the book, like, so I kind of like that, like, showing, like, off, like, she was even more of a jerk in the book, kind of, like, it didn't matter if they were kids or adults, like, pretty much a jerk to everyone, which I think was the whole point of the mask. So I like that a lot better. And then, I don't know, I think that's about it. Oh, and also another thing that I liked, that I noticed that they didn't actually, like, that wasn't actually even brought up in the TV adaptation. I liked how the friend, how Sabrina, I think was her friend's name, how she, said that, she was calling out about the wrapper thing, like, if, like, the candy isn't wrapped, she had to throw it away. I feel like that's just good advice in general. So I'm glad they called that out in the book. Like, kind of just a PSA in a way, too. So that didn't show up in the TV, so I like that, too. But yeah, I think that's about it. So if anyone else wants to say anything about the book, or if you want to do a book discussion, maybe if you want me to start, like, putting down a comment where we can, like, where people can start having a book discussion, I can do that as well. You can let me know if you think I should make a comment like that as well. I can. But for now, I think, like, you can, like, always, like, start up the comment, and then, like, maybe any further comments can just go in that comment too. Just so, like, it's not taking up a bunch of, like, extra space in the comments. But not that I'm getting a ton of comments right now anyway. But anyway, thank you to Nooblitz for showing up in the stream, at least for a little bit. And I would like to thank everyone who will be watching after, as well. Anyone else who may have shown up during the stream or were just looking. So thank you so much to all of you. Yeah, I haven't really got any new comments yet, so I'm not really going to be shouting at any of those. I guess I could check Impact or maybe I'll just check Impact on Monday, because it's getting a little late. Yeah. Anyway, bye everyone. And if you do like my content, once again, please, as a reminder, please like, share, and subscribe. And especially considering, consider subscribing, because I think that'll help out a lot. If I can get enough. But each one still helps. And maybe even follow me on Twitch if you have a Twitch account. Maybe considering watching some of the content I have over there. I think that, Macedon livestream might be going away soon, but I think the highlights that I have of it should still be there, like, after the fact. So I'll have to check and see. Anyway, bye everyone. Have a nice rest of your day, and if anyone's going to church, I hope you have a good sermon. I'm probably gonna be going to my comic shop maybe today or at some point, because I got a few cards from one of my other locals that I have that's fairly close to me. I got a few, like, good bulk cards from them for a pretty cheap price, and I want to try trading, like, maybe for just better overall cards, like more generic cards, more cards that people would be more likely to want.